Don't burn bridges unless you absolutely have to. The world is smaller than you think it is. And I want to share this with you guys because a couple of things happened over the last 2 days. And they're good lessons that maybe you can take something from this for yourself, or for somebody in your life, maybe your kids. And I'm always trying to pass on lessons to my kids. And I think this is a good one. Do not burn bridges unless you absolutely have to. Um, this weekend, son, my youngest son, was playing in a tournament, and he got into a situation where the umpire was making some bad calls, very obviously making bad calls, and he was getting a little frustrated, and his coach, at the time had asked him where did a certain pitch miss, and my son looked at the coach and said, "I don't know, I guess high or something." And that's how he said it. "I don't know, I guess high." And I could tell that that irritated the umpire because he immediately called timeout and he said, "Come here." And he walked over to the coach and he said, "I need you to talk to him about his attitude." And the coach said, he wasn't talking to you. He was talking to me. He wasn't talking to you." And he said, "It doesn't matter. He's been doing that, with my calls, and I've been noticing it. I haven't said anything, but now I'm letting you know." And the coach said, "Okay, well, again, it shouldn't irritate you because he's not speaking to you in that tone. He's actually talking to me." He's like, "So it shouldn't be bothering you." So the coach and the umpire kind of got into it a little bit, which is understandable. That happens on a baseball field, right? But my son is the kid who actually has to deal with the umpire because he's right behind him. Um, and there's still a lot of baseball left. So what I told my son is this. I pulled him aside and I said, "Listen, when you go back out there, please listen to me." I said, "I know you're going to get upset, but when you go out there, tap your chest, say, 'My bad, I apologize,' and dap the umpire up and say, 'My bad for that,' and move on." He says, "I'm not doing that, Dad. He's been making bad calls." I said, "Son, listen to me. You're acting like I'm not on your side. You are 100% correct. He is making bad calls. But you still have a game to finish, and there are a lot of innings left in this game. And the last thing you need is an umpire to not be on your side. You don't know what he's going to do. He may not give you calls, and he may not help your pitcher out. And right now, you need that guy on your side, and you need him to be able to give you calls every now and then that are too close." I said, "And he's not going to do that because of the attitude. So you got to learn to suck it up, even if you're not wrong. Go up there, make amends, and you want to get that guy somehow back on your side." Okay? He was upset by that. He didn't end up doing it. He did calm down. He had a better attitude for the rest of the game, but he didn't do it. When we took our ride home, I explained to him, I said, "Son, listen to me." And he wasn't mad. He wasn't upset. He was listening. I said, "I'm trying to teach you that because you have to understand there is two parts of this game. There's a lot of parts to baseball, but there's two major parts of this game. And one of them is competing in the game, and the other is actually the mental game. And the mental game is part of you doing things like that in order to make an umpire feel okay, in order to make an umpire feel like he's not being disrespected. It's a head game, it's a mind game." I said, "Yes, I'm on your side. You are correct. But he makes the calls. So you don't want him to be on your bad side because he's not going to help you after that. These guys hold grudges. A lot of them do. All right." And he's like, "I understand." I said, "Okay. And you just don't know when you're ever going to see this umpire again." See, when I was coaching high school baseball this last season, um, I had to suck it up myself because I got into a situation with an umpire who completely missed a call. I was completely right, but he didn't like that I was questioning him, so he didn't kick me out, but he kicked me out to the dugout to where I couldn't be on the field anymore, but I could coach from the dugout. And I've talked about this already. So he sent me to the dugout, and then he sent two of the parents home. He wanted them away from the field because they were mouthing off. Um, but I made sure after the game to shake his hand and tell him, "Hey, you're correct. My bad. I didn't mean to fire off like that." And he goes, "Right on. Have a good day." And that was it. The beautiful thing of doing that was a week later, we got that same umpire at a different game at a different high school. The exact same one. And this time, instead of being on the field, he was behind the plate. So he's the guy that I had to meet with before the game to exchange lineups and to talk to the other coach and go over all the rules. So he seen me, I saw him, he smiled. He goes, "We're gonna have a good game today?" And I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "We are." I said, "Hey, for what it's worth, again, I apologize." He goes, "No, we're good, man." He goes, "We're good. I know we all have those days." I said, "Yeah, we do." I said, "I just want to let you know that, we're on the up and up, and we'll have a good day. We'll have a good day today." And he goes, "Right on, man. Let's have a great game." Shook hands, and it was a great game. We won the game, and we did well. But this is the reason why I was trying to teach my son, be careful, because this is baseball, but and baseball is big. It's a very popular sport. It's all over the place. It's in every city, state, you name it. But the community is very small. What I mean by that is umpires know umpires who know umpires who know coaches who know players. They all know each other. It always happens that someone says, "Oh man, I know this guy who umpired a game. Man, he doesn't like your head coach." I've heard that plenty of times. Or I've heard from an umpire, "Man, when you play that other high school, watch the catcher. His mouth is crazy. And the coach is a piece of work." So word travels. It's a very small community. It's big, but it's small, because if you make a bad impression, they're going to talk about you. And on the flip side, if you make a good impression, they're going to talk good things about you. Which leads me to this. Today, I went for an on-site walkthrough for another potential coaching job that I have, and did a complete walkthrough of the baseball facilities. Met the head coach of the varsity team, and everything went extremely well. Probably better than I thought it was going to go, but it went really well, and it looks promising. And me and the guy have a very similar baseball philosophy. We look at the game pretty close to the same. We coach pretty identical. And we're both old school guys. You know what I mean? We come from an era of baseball where we play hard nose, we're aggressive, and we expect a lot out of our players. So we hit it off, and we talked for an hour. And it seems like it's probably going to be a good fit. So I'm looking forward to going to a second interview. Now here's where all this ties in. I come back home, and I had shared a video of the baseball field. I always, on my social media, wherever I'm at, I'll just kind of, I like to give people an insight to my life and what I do every day. And so today I shared a video of the baseball field I was at, and I just put some music to it. And, a few people were like, "Damn, that's a really nice baseball field. What school is that?" But one person in particular replied, and it was a coach that we had just had a scrimmage against. But not only that, he coached at a private school out here that is very, very competitive, that nearly won CCS last year. And now he's at another high school coaching. He's very well connected, and is highly respected in the baseball community around here in the Bay Area. He messages me and he says, "Hey," he's like, "Awesome, man." He's like, "Are you thinking of going for it? I put in a good word for you." And I was like, "Wait a minute, put in a good word for me?" I replied back to him. I said, "Yeah, I'm actually thinking. It's on the table. It looks like that the offer is going to be there." The coach loved me. Apparently, the AD thought very highly of me, which is why he referred me to the coach. And now we're looking for a second interview to kind of, finalize everything. Apparently, I go, "Why? Do you know the coach?" And he replies to me and he says, I do know the coach because we've competed against each other for a long time. He runs a very, very good program, knows baseball. He goes, but I know the AD more. So what I did was I reached out to the AD and I put a good word in for you. And when I tell you, I was so taken back. And the reason being is, you got to understand, in high school, the ADs make the decision. If you're not on good terms with the AD, athletic director, you're not getting anything. You're not getting the job. You're not getting any help with the program. Nothing. They are the end all be all. And I've worked with ADs who are terrible, who do not care about your program, refuse to do anything to make the program grow. So the fact that this other coach put in a good word for me with this AD spoke volumes, because it's coming from somebody who, like I told you, coached this private school, who is constantly in the Central Coast Section finals every year, and is just respected as a coach and a baseball guy throughout this community. So the fact that this guy, this type of quality of a coach, would get on the horn and call an AD of a school and put in a good word for me is so appreciated. And I was just so thankful. And I told him, I said, listen, man, I know you didn't have to do that. I appreciate you so much. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know, and you got it. That made me think of how small the community is again. Imagine just burning bridges everywhere you go, and then word gets around. And you get an opportunity that's so beautiful, and you're so excited, and you think you got it, and then boom, someone says, hey, do not work with this guy. This guy did this, he did that, he did this, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. He is absolutely terrible to work with. Imagine that. That could have happened if I had left a trail of just burned bridges, right? But I didn't. I haven't. And I've done my best to try to make sure that any bridge that is no longer there for me was not something that I initiated, that may have been on fire already. All right, because that happens too. Sometimes there are some bridges that are going to get burned that you have no hand in setting that thing on fire. It just happens sometimes. Sometimes you can't control it. So that happened today, and immediately I shared that with my kids, and my oldest son was like, wow, Dad, so he knew the AD, and wow, he's like, this is such a small circle. I said, exactly. And so as I'm texting, I tell my youngest son, I said, listen, this is why I was trying to teach you that lesson on Sunday. You just never know. I said, son, you're about to go into high school. That same umpire may pop up at one of your high school games and be the behind the plate umpire, and he may remember you. And if you make it right, he's gonna say, hey, I remember you, man. You're in high school now, huh? It's good to see you, man. You know, and you built that relationship with him, and he respects you for apologizing and just saying, hey, from here on out, we're good. I said, you got to make sure that you do whatever you can, because it's such a small community, and it's going to come back around. And you never know when it's going to come back around, but it always does. So I guess what I'm doing is sharing this with you guys, because it doesn't have to be baseball. It can be work. It could be anything that you're involved with, man. Anything, like if you're a small business owner and you're doing customers wrong, if you're somebody who is, whatever it is, make sure that you are not just burning bridges because you're having a bad day and to hell with it. Because you never know when you're going to have to cross that same bridge, and there is someone on the other side of that bridge that knows the person that you burned and is saying, you know what? Sorry, I can't work with you because I've heard what you did at the other place you were at, and I can't do it. not willing to risk the integrity of this program or this business or whatever. I'm not willing to spend money at your business because I heard how you did a few friends of mine. You understand what I'm saying? So if it is in your control, try not to burn bridges that you don't have to. And understand that sometimes there are going to be bridges that are burned that are completely out of your control. It happens. That's all I got. I hope you guys have a great day. As always, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Ray Molina. Also, The Perfect Mess Pod. I am on Facebook, Rumble, Snapchat, TikTok. Find everything on all those applications. I've got everything set up to where you can follow us there, and yeah, and share everything, please. That's the other thing. Share everything if you can. I'm trying to grow this thing, so if you follow me on any of those platforms, just share the content if you like it. I always say, man, if you feel it, please share it. Especially on Instagram. I do a lot of reels too, so if you like what you see, you like the content, just share it for me. Also on YouTube, youtube.com/The Perfect Mess Pod. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications of any videos that I put up. All right. I have a website. It's raymolina.com. Make sure to check it out. And like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is the perfect mess. Peace.